Anytime.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what I wanted my speech to be about. I grew up with so many different morals and values, but it was things that I learned from my family or things that I obtained through experience. There was never anything definitive that I could use to describe myself or who I was. Like, everything in everyday life can inspire me. I could see somebody in the classroom pick up a $20 bill and hand it in to the professor instead of keeping it for themselves and be inspired by that. Little things inspire me just as well as big things. So when I made this discovery, I set out to search for a quote that would best fit this discovery I made about myself, and it was one by Vincent van Gogh. It goes, "Normality is a paved road. It's comfortable to walk, but no flowers grow on it." To me, this means you create your own destiny. I know a lot of people believe in fate and that what's meant to happen will happen. And although I agree with this, I feel like nothing worth having comes without effort. You have to work for what you want. I, just like everyone else, have dreams that they so badly want to achieve. I want to be on TV, I want to have a famous blog, and have some spare time to be a physical therapist. And who's to tell me that that's impossible? Who's to tell me that I can't do that? No one. The real question is, with what time? We all have 24 hours in a day, and what we choose to do with it completely depends on us. I know that all these dreams that I want to accomplish may not all happen at the same time, but I am determined to be able to accomplish them before I die. Too many of us are stuck thinking that there's only one way that we can do things. We have to do this certain way in order to yield this result. But more often than not, alternative ways always yield and give better results. Just look at the greats like Oprah Winfrey, J.K. Rowling, Steve Jobs, and Tyler Perry. All of these people created their own yellow brick roads to travel on. No one told them how to reach their success. They all went through trials and tribulations in order to become who they wanted to become. Tyler Perry's story is so compelling. He grew up in a household full of sexual and emotional abuse with parents who could barely feed the family. Throughout all of this, he stayed close to the church, and his passion for writing never faltered. He would usually write pieces about soul searching, things like forgiveness for things that happened in his past because he was a rape victim. And somebody coming from his background would never think that they can make it out. Like, he would probably start selling drugs or doing things that he knew he shouldn't be doing, but he felt that that road wasn't the one for him. He didn't want to follow that pre-created path, and he created his own. He didn't settle for mediocrity, and because of that, he became an anomaly. There are two quotes that I love by him that talk about how he came from nothing to something and why he is where he is today. They go, "Statistics say that I'm supposed to be in jail and that I'm not supposed to be alive, and you close the door and tell me I can't, I'm going to find a way to get in." These two quotes speak so many volumes to me. For one, nobody would have cared if he ended up in jail or dead. They just would have been like, oh, he's another person that's a victim of the environment that he came from, the community that he was surrounded by. But he felt like that wasn't the one for him. And the second one inspires me because somebody that came from his environment would have no hope. People that from his humble beginnings or even less would be like, you know what, I can't be the people that I see on TV, so I'm just going to settle for less. But he didn't do that. Those people who are able to keep even a little bit of hope alive are the people that make it out in the world. With little to no resources available, it's up to you to do what you want to do with it. And that's why I created this quote a couple of days ago. "When life hands you lemons, make blueberry and pancakes." I know it seems like it doesn't make sense, but basically what it means is that you have to follow your own norm. The norm should be what's good for you and nobody else. So if I want to make blueberry pancakes out of lemons, I'm going to find a way to do that because it's possible to me. So my parents and my whole family, a lot of them are all in the medical field because they feel like that's you can only find jobs in there that will give you a steady income and you can live comfortably. It took me a long time to convince them that I wanted to be a physical therapist because everybody was like, you have to be med and be a doctor. But because of the way I am, I like to voice my own opinions and follow what I feel is best for me. Till this day, my mom still thinks I'm selling myself short because I want to be a physical therapist. Okay. So, if it was really up to me, I would be a communications major with a minor in journalism and on my way to finding an internship with ETV. So, what's stopping me? Thing is, I don't know. And that's my point right there. It's perfectly fine to fall flat on your face and not know where you want to go from here. It's perfectly okay to rearrange the steps that you've created for yourself to reach your goal. And it's perfectly cool to take the punches that life throws at you as long as you get back up stronger and with more determination than before. Sometimes our biggest enemy is ourselves. We're the main culprit and the person that's holding us back from reaching our full potential. We should be able to use the same voice of reason that we use to encourage others to encourage ourselves. Practice what you preach and the results will come. Sometimes we may step on gum on our road to success and get in a sticky situation, but all that matters is that we get out of it. Half of us in here that are following the PT track might end up realizing we want to be an OT or PA instead, or maybe even an actor. The only thing that matters is that we become what we truly want to become. We may work 15 years as a physical therapist just to realize that our true calling is to be a guru. Who cares? It doesn't matter as long as you reach that point where you're truly happy with yourself. I'm an avid believer, and if I'm happy with myself, then others will be happy for me. I'll be able to attract people who for lack of a better word, deserve to be in it because they'll love and cherish me for who I am, and I'll do the same for them. I actually have a story, and I'm actually on that path right now. I had a friend from last year who, in my intuition, I never knew why I couldn't trust her, but because I didn't have any proof of it, I guess I just gave her the benefit of the doubt and rolled with it. Like, there was things about her that I didn't agree with, but I can't tell her how to live a life. You live the life the way you want to live it. However, fast forward to a couple weeks ago, I found out that this girl was telling random people unnecessary and sort of private stuff about me, and even made up lies and false allegations to tell to somebody that's really important to me. So I was so upset and angry, and I didn't know how to deal with it. And I tried to, instead of going, running up to her and screaming at her and yelling at her, I took a moment to sit down and reassess myself and figure out why she would do the things that she did or say the things she said. And it took me a long time, but I couldn't find any reason. I just realized that it was her. And it was the personal demons that she was dealing with, and the fact that she felt like she should always be the center of attention and everybody should listen to her. So I took it upon myself to just stop talking to her. She may have felt like, oh, why don't I see you anymore, or why don't I talk to you anymore, and all those things, but I felt like somebody like that doesn't deserve a reason for me to even explain to her. If she could have said that many untrue and hurtful things about me, then she was never really a friend to begin with. So I should have called her associate. I correct myself. Mm-hmm. That's why I always try to preach that you should keep people in your life that help you reach your goal. At this age that we're at, we don't need people that's going to hinder us from reaching our full potential. We all have the challenges that we're going to face on our path to success, or that we're creating for ourselves, is already enough pressure on us. So sometimes it may seem like we're at a dead-end road with no detours or turns. We can't look up, down, left, right. We just don't know where to go from here. We're going to reach our breaking point. We're going to feel like all hope is gone, and we're going to reach rock bottom. But this is where the best stories and memories are created. This is where we realize how much we can take, how far we're willing to push ourselves emotionally and mentally. And after this point is where everything depends on you. You set your own limitations. You figure out how much you want in your life, how much out of life you want, and you go ahead and you reach those goals. We all have a plan, but what really matters is that we take the actions to reaching them. So, you should always remember that you are the creator of your own destiny. You are your biggest supporter, and because only you know how truly and how bad you want to achieve the goals that you want. Following others' path, I know it seems easy and it may seem like that's the only way that we can reach our goals, but it's so boring and it's so yesterday. Besides, it's always more fun to create your own path. Thank you.
Bravo. Lovely. Very good.
That was awesome.
Really good.
Yeah, that was really good.
That spoke to
the
me.
soul.
Didn't it?
Yeah, I'm not kidding.
John.
907.
907.
Wow.
Perfect. Wow.
I think that's my